Hi there, everybody. So today we're going to be talking about proteins and carbs, basically what they can do for you and which ones you should be aiming for the most in your diet and which ones you should be avoiding, as well as learning why these things are so important. And if you go to set out your macronutrients, these things along with fat are going to be your big goals for the day every day. So let's go ahead and dive into, let's start with proteins because they're easier to knock out. So your proteins are going to be very beneficial to keeping your stomach full and also helping you to lose weight. Excuse us while you're going to hear a baby in the background because we're eating. All right, so let's talk about seafood. Most people very much enjoy seafood. Seafood is an excellent source of protein because it's usually low in fat. Depending on what you get, you want to stay away from a lot of your high in cholesterol foods, mostly like lobster and such. Fish like salmon is a little bit higher in fat, but it's a heart healthy fat, which is your omega-3s, which we could dive into at another time, but it's high in protein. So seafood is an excellent option, especially like your white fishes. They are usually high in protein, low in fat. So next is your white meat poultry. So your turkey and your chicken, you want to go for the light meat, not the dark meat, because the dark meat's usually higher in fat. And the skin, of course, is high in saturated fat, so you usually want to go for skinless options or remove the skin before cooking. Either way is fine. Skin is high in saturated fat. No bueno. So next will be like your milk and your cheese and your yogurt, which are great sources of protein. And bonus, they're high in calcium, and a lot of them are have added vitamin D, which is great, especially for me because I'm up here and near Seattle and there's not a lot of sunshine, so vitamin D is great. And of course, it's going to keep your bones and your teeth strong, and especially for women, it's great to help prevent osteoporosis. So, porosis, sorry, not psoriasis. Which is just going to help you when you get older to keep from falling and breaking a hip kind of thing. You always want to keep your bones strong, especially when you're working out and trying to eat healthy. Next is the obvious, which are eggs. Eggs are usually one of the least expensive forms of protein. And, if you go by American Heart Association, they usually say that normal healthy adults can safely enjoy an egg a day. If you want to cut out the cholesterol, which is the big concern for the AHA, you usually want to cut out your yolk and just go for egg whites, which some people say they're bland, but I have found for myself personally, if you add in some veggies, which we've already talked about, veggies are super important, then you can throw in some, say you like spinach and mushrooms, and why not add in a little bit of cheese in there, get some extra healthy fats and protein in there, and hey, there you go. It's more flavorful. So that's what I do. I love sriracha too, not gonna lie. I love it. So next are your beans. So I don't know if you know this, but half a cup of beans can contain as much protein as 1 ounce of a steak. So they are a great veggie or vegetarian friendly option. Yeah, I know. So exciting. Go beans! And then a lot of people will try to steer clear of pork because of the sodium in it. And of course, you don't want to throw bacon into everything, even though bacon makes everything better, right? So I'm not gonna say completely cut out bacon. I enjoy bacon every so often. If I do get it, I go for lower sodium options. But it is high in fat, so the best pork option that I have found is a pork tenderloin. So it's a great white meat and it's very versatile, and it's actually 31% leaner. That's what I've read. 31% leaner than pork tenderloins that you could have gotten 20 years ago. So it's another great white meat option. Um, soy. Soy is a good option. I try not to have a lot of soy in our house because we have boys, and I've read conflicting things about soy in a male diet. So just be wary of it. Do your own research. As you may or may not know, I am not a dietitian by any means. I am a Beachbody coach and I do research on my own. The next great option is lean beef, and we have beef frequently. I steer towards grass-fed beef, and I usually just buy it when it's on sale. So I know beef can be more expensive. Next thing would be like your protein on the go, which a lot of people like to have like protein drinks or like protein bars and stuff, which I'm not saying those are terrible options, but make sure you are checking the label and seeing how much protein is actually in it and see if it's worth the amount of sugar and fat. Now you can look up the best, like healthier options for protein, which I highly recommend, because if you just go for the commercialized ones, they're usually high in sugar. So be wary of that. You don't want to up your blood sugar levels too high. Studies have shown that if you have a high protein item in your breakfast, along with a high fiber grain like whole wheat toast or oatmeal, if you add an egg or a Greek yogurt to your breakfast, it'll help you feel full longer and help you to eat less throughout the day. So help to curb those cravings and everything. All right, so that is my little fun facts. Feel free to ask any questions. I'll do my best to answer them or steer you in the right direction with them. My next subject are your carbs. So for me, carbs are a big thing that I have to keep an eye on. I have problems with my blood sugars myself, and I've always struggled with that. So a lot of this is stuff that I've learned through like my sugar classes, like my diabetes classes and everything. So first off, why do we need carbs? Carbs are the thing that in our diet we need in the largest amounts. I think the reference for the USDA is like 45 to 65% of your calories should come from carbs. And it's because carbs are the body's main source of fuel. They're easily used by our body for energy. All of our tissues and cells can use the glucose for energy. They're needed for your central nervous system, your kidneys, your brain, your muscles, including your heart, to function properly. They can be stored in your muscles and liver and used later for energy, so you can store away some energy. Carbs are important for like your intestinal health and waste elimination, which this is your fibers, which are considered carbs, which we'll get into a little bit more in a minute. They're mostly found in starchy foods like your grains, your potatoes, your fruits, your milk, your yogurt. They can be found in like vegetables and beans and nuts and seeds and cottage cheese, but they are in less amounts. So they still have carbs in those items, but it's just not near as much as your other foods. So fiber is a type of carb that your body can't digest. And what it actually does is it goes through your intestinal tract and helps to move waste out of your body. Diets low in fiber, I know everybody knows this, they could cause problems. They could cause constipation. Along with constipation comes hemorrhoids, and it could cause like problems with colon cancer and everything else. So you need to make sure you're having your high fiber. It also, when you have high fiber in your diet, it reduces your risk for heart disease, obesity, and they help to lower your cholesterol. So all good things. Foods high in fiber would be your things that aren't going to easily like digest. Sometimes they can cause you to make sure you're regular. So these would be like your fruits and your veggies and like whole grain food. So we eat whole wheat bread in this house, tons of whole grain products in this house. It's terrible. Well, not terrible. It's very good, but people that enjoy white processed foods are probably not going to enjoy eating at my house. And then we need to discuss the difference between simple and complex carbs, because there's a big difference. So your simple carbs, these are going to be the things that when you eat them or consume them, however, drink them, they're going to spike your blood sugar, and it's because they are processed so quickly that it turns straight into sugar in your bloodstream, and it's going to instantly spike it. They're basically like 2-unit sugars, which I don't know if you've ever looked at something kind of like a DNA form, or if you know how all that works. But like lactose is just glucose and galactose. Your sucrose is basically like white table sugar. It's glucose and fructose. Maltose is just glucose and glucose. So it's just very simple, and your body breaks it down super quick. That's why when you eat chocolate or anything high in sugar, you instantly get that high. Your body just breaks it down so quickly. Now your complex carbs, your fibers and starches, they resemble more of like a long chain. So like your plant foods, your grains, your potatoes, your legumes, they all contain starches, and it's like this long thing. Instead of 2, it's a long strand. This takes longer for your body to digest, which when your body takes longer to digest, it is slowly breaking down and going into your bloodstream. And when it's slowly going into your bloodstream, then your blood sugar levels stay constant. That's why they encourage you to eat 3 meals a day, 3 snacks a day, or 2 to 3 snacks a day, because it keeps your body at a stable sugar level, which is better on so many levels. It's amazing. So, of course, your body can't distinguish the difference between the sugars when it's actually broken down and absorbed, but it has a huge impact on your overall health, like over the length of time. And of course, like your complex carbs, since they're coming from plant-based foods, they're going to have a plethora more of beneficial nutrients and vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. So let's see, what else was I going to let you guys know about? Let's see. So basically, like your complex carbs, instead of choosing a white potato at dinner, try a sweet potato. Way better for you, and it takes your body longer to break it down, makes you feel full longer, way more beneficial towards vitamins. And if you choose something that, like, rather than having a piece of chocolate, try going for an apple or an orange. Yes, they still have sugar, and it's still a high amount of sugar, but the bonus is your fruit is going to have your fiber, your vitamins, your complex carbs. It's going to keep you full longer, and it's going to help your digestion over time. Whereas that piece of chocolate, what is that going to do for you? Make you feel that high for a minute and make you satisfy that craving, but then later you're just going to feel bad for it or get down on yourself. So you need to try to think of the benefits when you're choosing your food items rather than just thinking of the instant satisfaction, which I know it can be tempting. I am pregnant right now and I have cravings like crazy, but I know that there's option A that is going to be instantly great, or there's option B that's great for me and great for my child, you know? So it's all about thinking and choosing different ways to satisfy your cravings. And plus, it'll keep your energy up, which is way better because you have sugar crashes after you have high sugar foods. So let's see. See if I missed anything in my notes really quick. Let's see. I don't know if I went over the why you need protein, but I'll go ahead and run that down really quick just in case I didn't. But the reasons protein are so beneficial is because it helps repair your tissue, helps with your immune function, making essential like hormones and enzymes in your body, helps to create energy when carbs aren't available. And it just helps in growth, especially in children and teens and pregnant women. So the USDA, the dietary reference, usually says that 10 to 35% of your calories should come from protein. This is usually easily met if you have a well-balanced diet, but again, that's why we're here, is because maybe you have questions of what you should be eating, shouldn't be eating. So as I said, proteins are in meats, poultry, fish, meat substitutes like soy, your cheese, your milk, nuts, legumes, and some very tiny amounts are found in your fruits and veggies. Provide us with amino acids, and these are very good for your body to help with the things I said before. But plant sources of protein, there's a note on that, they do not contain all your essential amino acids. So keep that in mind if you do go a vegetarian or vegan route. So you do have to make up those amino acids. All right, so that is all of my notes for today, and I hope y'all have a great day. All right, bye-bye.